Shalom, I'm Rabbi Michael Panitz. I'm the Rabbi of Temple Israel of Norfolk, Virginia, honored to be speaking to you from the pulpit of our synagogue. My message at this time is entitled, The Greatest Miracle. If the Exodus were only a story, it would be a strange one indeed. 12 chapters of lead-up to Pharaoh finally giving his consent to the Israelites to leave, only for it to be a false ending, and the true ending transpiring a chapter later, with the drowning of Pharaoh's chariot forces in the surging waters of the sea, with the Israelites safely across it just in time. But then again, the dividing of the waters of the Sea of Reeds, Yam Suf, is not a mere story. It is saga. A saga, according to the religious philosopher Martin Buber, is not journalism, nor again is it fiction. It is memory contributing to a sense of identity. The memory of a great event as it has been processed in the consciousness of the people and as it affects them from that moment forward. Clearly, this saga was central to the spiritual life of the children of Israel from a very early date in our history. As may be inferred from its archaic language, the Song of the Sea, Exodus chapter 15, is demonstrably older than the Hebrew of the surrounding chapters of the prose narrative. In whatever manner it was understood to be the climax of the story, clearly it was no add-on. The escape from Pharaoh's army was the memory connected with our birth as a nation. In their writings about the miracles recounted in the Bible, the rabbis often treated this as the greatest one. That is remarkable, considering the competition. The creation of the cosmos in 6 days, the plagues, the manna, God speaking to an entire people from the heavens. One can imagine the rabbis assigning the gold medal of most impressive miracle to any of a number of unforgettable biblical narratives. Why was this one often considered, in the words of the tailor Muttel Camzoil from Fiddler on the Roof, of all God's miracles, great and small, the most miraculous of them all? The Bible gives us a hint to what I believe to be the answer to this question. Quote, Exodus chapter 14, verses 30 to 31. That day the Lord saved Israel from the hands of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians lying dead on the shore. And when the Israelites saw the mighty hand of the Lord displayed against the Egyptians, the people feared the Lord and put their trust in God and in Moses, his servant. The detail of seeing the corpses of the Egyptians makes sense psychologically. The Israelites had been enslaved, with the Egyptians being masters of their labor, their bodies, wielding the power of life and death over them. Perhaps only actually seeing their former abusers dead allowed them to believe that their nightmare had ended. I imagine that concentration camp survivors might have felt the same way, passing the corpses of the SS guards as they walked out of the death camps. But even so, the statement in Exodus chapter 14 is remarkable, calling for an explanation. The 10 plagues did not suffice to make the Israelites believe in God. The Exodus itself did not convince them. I believe that this statement of faith of the Israelites at this moment in their liberation, and not earlier, is meant to be the bookend of an earlier statement. In Exodus chapter 6, verses 6 through 9, God charges Moses to give the Israelites divine promises of deliverance and covenant. But listen to the response. Quote, "Therefore say to the Israelites, I am the Lord. I will bring you out from under the yoke of the Egyptians. I will free you from being slaves to them. I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and mighty acts of judgment. I will take you as my own people, and I will be your God. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of under the yoke of the Egyptians. And I will bring you to the land I swore with uplifted hand to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. I will give it to you as a possession. I am the Lord." Moses reported this to the Israelites, but they did not listen to him because of their crushed spirit and the hard labor. The Israelites could not believe the unseen God when Moses first gave God's promise. They may have begun to believe it during the plagues and in the moment of the Exodus, but the sight of Pharaoh's chariots bearing down upon them plunged them into despair. Only at this moment, the sea successfully crossed, was their faith at its high point. Should that surprise us? From the standpoint of the Israelites immersed in the culture of Egypt, gods were tangible. Egyptian gods were depicted as humans with animal heads and as other combinations of natural entities. The God of Israel, having a name but no image, surely challenged credibility. Only from the safe shore of the Reed Sea, beholding the power of the unseen God to overwhelm the seen enemy, were the Israelites able to leap into the radically new understanding of the true nature of things. Fast forward to today. We are comfortable with the notion of God as spirit. Perhaps we are so comfortable as to have a hard time comprehending just how revolutionary the idea was for our ancestors. But are we not close-minded in our own way? What default assumptions of our own day and age prevent us from comprehending better the presence of the infinite God hovering over the chaos of our finite world? Can we break with our ingrained consumerism and become guardians of our planet? Can we break with our habitual egotism and understand that God, being one, is God of all people? Closer to this story, in recent months, our own country has seemed more like Pharaoh, seeking to dominate and rule by intimidation. Could we do a better job of embracing the vision God gave to the people of Israel encamped around Mount Sinai to create a society in which all are free? The response to receiving God's blessing should be to enlarge our spirits, not to fuel the selfishness that is everywhere the hallmark of spiritual immaturity. The Bible suggests that the greatness achieved by the Israelites at that moment was their willingness to move forward to a new vision and a new kind of society. If it could happen once, we have hope that we can rise once again. In the words of the Kaddish prayer, V'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, may this kingdom of heaven be established in our own lives, in our own day. Amen.